Welcome to Dolphin Dive Daily, your go-to spot for everything Miami Dolphins. If you bleed aqua and orange, hit that subscribe button and join the pod. The San Francisco 49ers are in a position no franchise ever wants to find itself in, staring down the long, grueling months of an NFL season without their most important defensive star. Nick Bosa, the reigning Defensive Player of the Year and the unquestioned anchor of the Niners' ferocious front seven, has gone down with a season-ending injury. For a team built on its ability to dominate the line of scrimmage, pressure opposing quarterbacks, and turn defense into a weapon every bit as dangerous as its explosive offense, losing Bosa is more than a setback. It's a gut punch, one that forces the front office to make a decision. Either accept the limitations of a wounded roster and hope for the best, or swing for the fences to keep the Super Bowl dream alive. If there was ever a time to be bold, it's now. And that's where Miami Dolphins pass rusher Jaelan Phillips enters the conversation. Phillips, still only 25 years old, embodies everything the 49ers need to offset the crushing loss of Bosa. A former first-round pick out of the University of Miami, he is long, explosive, and relentless. His skill set checks every box for what defensive coordinator Steve Wilks asks of his edge rushers: speed off the line, power to hold up against bigger offensive tackles, and the motor to chase plays sideline to sideline. When you watch Phillips, you see a defender who hasn't even hit his ceiling yet, but who already flashes the kind of game-wrecking potential that could make him one of the league's elite for years to come. Pair him with veterans like Arik Armstead and Javon Hargrave, and suddenly San Francisco transforms its most glaring weakness back into a terrifying strength. What makes Phillips such an intriguing target isn't just his production, it's the timing. Rarely do edge rushers of his caliber become available on the trade market, especially when they're still on a rookie contract. But the Dolphins are in a complicated spot. They're a franchise that has gone all in on surrounding Tua Tagovailoa with weapons like Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, while investing heavily in a defense headlined by Bradley Chubb and Jalen Ramsey. That spending spree has left Miami short on draft capital and flexibility, two resources critical for sustaining success in the long run. As much as they value Phillips, the Dolphins front office may find it impossible to ignore an offer that not only replenishes their draft stockpile, but also delivers a young, cost-controlled edge rusher in return. For the 49ers, this is not about bargain hunting. This is about survival at the top of the NFL food chain. The NFC is a gauntlet featuring quarterbacks like Dak Prescott, Jared Goff, and Jalen Hurts, all protected by offensive lines good enough to punish defenses that can't generate consistent pressure. Without Bosa, San Francisco risks falling behind, forced to rely too heavily on its offense to carry the load. That's not how this roster is designed. This is a team built on balance, on complementary football, on wearing opponents down physically until they break. Losing that identity could mean losing their grip on the Lombardi window altogether. A move for Phillips is more than just a replacement. It's a declaration that nothing will derail their pursuit of a championship. Let's talk specifics, because the perfect trade package has already been drawn up, and it's as aggressive as it is fair. San Francisco would send its 2026 first-round pick, a 2027 third-rounder, and promising young edge rusher Drake Jackson to Miami in exchange for Jaelan Phillips. On paper, it's a steep price. Giving up a first-rounder is never easy, especially for a franchise that has leaned on draft day savvy to remain competitive. But the 49ers are not in a rebuilding cycle. They're in a win-now mode, a window where every pick is expendable if it means raising another banner in Levi's Stadium. For Miami, this deal is hard to ignore. A first-round pick restores their ability to draft elite talent in the near future, something they've lacked after trading away premium selections in recent years. The inclusion of Drake Jackson adds a fascinating wrinkle. The young edge rusher has flashed potential with the Niners, but hasn't fully broken out in a stacked rotation. In Miami, with more snaps and the chance to grow opposite Bradley Chubb, Jackson could blossom into a reliable contributor at a fraction of the cost of Phillips. Add in a third-rounder for extra flexibility, and suddenly the Dolphins have a package that allows them to compete now while preparing for tomorrow. It's important to recognize that Miami wouldn't make this decision lightly. Phillips is more than just a productive player. He's a cornerstone, someone who represents the kind of homegrown talent every franchise dreams of developing. Trading him away could sting in the locker room and among the fan base. But football is a business built on hard choices. If the Dolphins believe they can continue competing in a loaded AFC while simultaneously stockpiling assets for the future, moving Phillips may be the sacrifice that unlocks long-term sustainability. With expensive extensions looming for stars like Waddle, every dollar and every draft pick matters. Meanwhile, San Francisco has a history of making bold, calculated moves when the situation demands it. From acquiring Christian McCaffrey to trading up for Trey Lance, this front office has never shied away from gambling big on talent. Some of those bets have paid off, some haven't, but the philosophy remains consistent. Do whatever it takes to keep the championship window open. Bringing in Jaelan Phillips would fit perfectly into that pattern. It tells the locker room that management believes in their ability to win now. It tells the fan base that one injury, no matter how devastating, won't derail their pursuit of a Super Bowl. And it tells the rest of the league that the 49ers are still coming, full throttle, with or without Nick Bosa. The beauty of this proposed deal is that it solves problems on both sides without creating unmanageable holes. The 49ers get their replacement for Bosa, someone young enough to be a foundational piece for years, not just a rental. The Dolphins get the draft picks they desperately need and a young edge rusher they can mold into a contributor. No team loses this trade. Both franchises address their current realities while setting themselves up for the future. That's the definition of a perfect trade in today's NFL. Of course, there will be critics. Some will argue the 49ers are mortgaging their future for a short-term fix. Others will claim the Dolphins are foolish to part ways with a budding star just as he's entering his prime. But sometimes the right decision doesn't look clean on the surface. Sometimes it requires risk, vision, and a willingness to embrace the uncomfortable. For San Francisco, that risk could mean keeping their Super Bowl hopes alive. For Miami, it could mean turning one valuable asset into three, broadening their chances of building a roster that can finally get over the hump in the AFC. If this trade were to happen, it wouldn't just be a transaction. It would be a seismic moment that reshapes the NFL landscape. Imagine Phillips flying off the edge in a red and gold uniform, wrecking pockets on Sunday Night Football while the 49ers' faithful roar. Imagine Miami entering the draft with newfound ammunition, ready to continue building around their explosive offense. The ripple effects would be felt across the league, altering playoff races, draft strategies, and even the balance of power between conferences. In the end, this is more than just speculation. This is the kind of move that makes sense for both teams, even if it hurts a little in the moment. The 49ers need Jaelan Phillips to fill the void left by Nick Bosa. The Dolphins need draft picks and flexibility to maintain their upward trajectory. It's a rare scenario where a blockbuster deal checks every box for both sides. If San Francisco is truly serious about keeping its Super Bowl window wide open, and if Miami is serious about playing the long game, then this trade might not just be perfect, it might be inevitable. Still with us? Then show some love. Hit that like button and let us know in the comments. What's your take on the Fins this week? The NFL world is buzzing this week, and for good reason. A seismic shift has reportedly hit the league, sending shockwaves from coast to coast. Rumors are swirling that the Miami Dolphins have made a blockbuster move, acquiring defensive powerhouse Chris Jones from the Kansas City Chiefs in what insiders are calling one of the most stunning transactions of the season. Sources close to the front office hint that the Dolphins saw an opportunity to completely alter the trajectory of their defense, and they pulled the trigger without hesitation. While exact details of the deal remain tightly under wraps, the whispers suggest a trade of monumental proportions, with assets and draft picks reportedly changing hands in a deal that could redefine the balance of power in the AFC. Miami, known for its aggressive approach under its current management, seems poised to make a statement not just within their division, but across the entire league. Fans are already speculating how Chris Jones, known for his devastating pass rush and ability to disrupt offensive schemes, will fit into a Dolphins defensive line that has been searching for a true game-changer. Analysts are dissecting the move, wondering whether Miami's investment will pay off in the short term, or if this is part of a longer-term strategy aimed at finally dethroning the Patriots' shadow and asserting dominance in the AFC East. Social media has erupted, with clips of Jones' highlight reels trending alongside animated graphics of the Dolphins' defensive front. Even casual fans are starting to feel the tremor, debating whether this acquisition signals a shift in the Dolphins' philosophy or if it's a calculated gamble meant to signal their intent to the rest of the league. Meanwhile, Kansas City is reportedly not standing still. Sources indicate that in the same deal, the Chiefs have regained one of their offensive crown jewels, Tyreek Hill, in a move that could reshape their attack in ways that strike fear into opposing defenses. Hill, a player whose speed, agility, and game-breaking talent have made him one of the most electrifying wide receivers in the NFL, is said to be returning to a familiar environment where he once formed a nearly unstoppable connection with quarterback Patrick Mahomes. The whispers suggest that Mahomes and Hill will quickly reignite their on-field chemistry, sparking speculation that the Chiefs could be positioning themselves for a deep playoff run or perhaps even a Super Bowl bid as early as next season. Experts are already analyzing how this reunion could alter the dynamics of the AFC West, with the Chiefs' offense suddenly looking like a juggernaut capable of testing even the most formidable defenses. The rumor mill hints at high-stakes negotiations, complicated logistics, and a whirlwind of last-minute discussions that ultimately culminated in a trade that no one saw coming just weeks ago. Hill's return, though not officially confirmed by all parties, is being treated by many insiders as a virtual certainty, and the buzz surrounding his potential impact has dominated conversations in sports media circles. Analysts are breaking down every possible scenario. Would Hill's presence force defenses to double cover him constantly, opening opportunities for other receivers? Could his speed and ability to stretch the field redefine Mahomes' offensive strategy? And perhaps most importantly, could this move signal the Chiefs' willingness to swing big and risk it all in pursuit of another championship? The timing of this rumor is also fascinating. With the NFL offseason in full swing, teams are making calculated moves that could make or break their seasons, and Miami and Kansas City appear to be leading the charge with audacious decisions. The Dolphins' front office reportedly saw an opening to strengthen a defensive line that had struggled against elite quarterbacks in recent seasons, while the Chiefs, always willing to take risks, apparently prioritized reuniting a superstar duo that has already proven its worth. Fans are dissecting every angle, with social media threads stretching for hundreds of comments debating who won the trade, if it goes through, and whether this will prompt ripple effects throughout the league. Could other AFC teams now feel compelled to make bold moves of their own? Are we on the cusp of a domino effect that reshapes team rosters league-wide? The rumor mill suggests that this deal is only the beginning of a flurry of activity that could define the next year of NFL competition. Insiders also hint at the human side of the story, with both Jones and Hill adjusting to their new or familiar environments, dealing with coaching philosophies, locker room dynamics, and media scrutiny. Chris Jones, known for his intensity and leadership on the field, reportedly had conversations with Dolphins coaches that reassured him of the team's vision and his central role in it. Meanwhile, Hill's return to Kansas City is said to be fueled not just by the opportunity to reconnect with Mahomes, but also by the city and fan base that embraced him during his first stint. Rumors paint a picture of a league in flux, with players' legacies, team identities, and championship aspirations hanging in the balance. Analysts are keenly watching every tweet, press conference, and training session for hints about how these moves will actually translate onto the field. Will Miami's defense immediately feel the impact of Jones' presence? Can the Chiefs' offense seamlessly integrate Hill back into a system that has evolved in his absence? The speculation is endless, and it's feeding a narrative that has NFL fans glued to every update, every report, every whisper of confirmation. From a strategic standpoint, the implications are enormous. Miami, often seen as an underdog in the AFC East, may now have a defensive centerpiece capable of altering game plans across the division. The Chiefs, meanwhile, are looking to cement their identity as one of the league's most dangerous offensive teams, leveraging Hill's speed and precision to stretch defenses and create opportunities in high-stakes matchups. Commentators are drawing comparisons to past trades of similar magnitude, highlighting the rare nature of such blockbuster deals in a league where incremental adjustments are more common than seismic shifts. The rumor alone is reshaping narratives, forcing other teams to reassess their rosters, draft strategies, and trade possibilities. Executives are said to be watching closely, taking notes on the Dolphins and Chiefs maneuvers, wondering if a similar aggressive approach could yield results for their own squads. Even the casual fan can't escape the buzz. Memes are spreading like wildfire. Highlight reels of Jones' sacks and Hill's breakaway touchdowns are being reshared with captions speculating on the upcoming season, and debates over which team got the better end of the deal are dominating sports bars and online forums alike. Podcasts are dedicating entire episodes to dissecting the rumor, with hosts analyzing potential game plans, salary cap implications, and long-term ramifications. The sheer scale of interest underscores just how much weight this rumor carries within the NFL community. Everyone seems to be asking the same question. If this deal goes through, what does the league look like next season, and who will emerge as the dominant force in the AFC? And while official confirmation remains pending, the energy surrounding the story feels palpable, as if the NFL itself has shifted on its axis. Front offices, media analysts, players, and fans alike are locked into a collective anticipation, waiting for the next tweet, press release, or insider tip that will clarify the scope of this potential shakeup. Rumors of Chris Jones donning the Dolphins' aqua and orange, and Tyreek Hill returning to the red and gold of Kansas City are dominating headlines, and every passing hour seems to add new layers of intrigue. Speculation abounds about potential other trades this could trigger, and whether this represents a larger trend of aggressive roster maneuvers in the league's evolving landscape. Some insiders even whisper that this move could signal a renewed era of superstar player mobility, where teams are willing to make bold, high-stakes moves to instantly transform their fortunes. In essence, whether you're a diehard fan, a casual observer, or someone just hearing about the NFL for the first time, the chatter surrounding Chris Jones and Tyreek Hill is impossible to ignore. The rumors are already shaping expectations, igniting debates, and prompting deep dives into team strategies. Analysts are placing bets, coaches are reconsidering plans, and fans are feverishly imagining the games to come. The NFL, as always, is unpredictable, but if this blockbuster trade rumor proves true, we could be witnessing one of the most significant shifts in recent history. A move that alters not just the destinies of Miami and Kansas City, but potentially the trajectory of the entire league. For now, all eyes are on the whispers, the hints, and the next big reveal, as the speculation continues to ripple across the NFL universe, promising drama, excitement, and possibly a historic showdown in the seasons to come. That's a wrap for today's dive. If you're loving the content, share it with a fellow Dolphins fan, hit subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a splash. Fins up.